Welcome back, friends. We are doing steak and shrimp fried rice hibachi at home in your backyard on the griddle. Boy, was this fun and delicious at the same time. Already got my eggs down and I have these egg rolls down. The eggs, I didn't put enough oil. You'll see they stuck a little bit, so made a few mistakes in this cook. Happy accidents, as I like to call them. Stole that from Bob Ross. I will go over them as we go. The first one was the eggs. I didn't put enough oil down, so scrambled them up, moved them to the side. That's butter and garlic on the top. Just about a tablespoon of butter and about a teaspoon of garlic. I'm going to put the whole recipe down in the description, and I'll have a link to it, so don't worry about writing anything down. It'll all be down there. And then I did the green onions up there in the butter and garlic, and then I also hit it up with a little bit more oil just to kind of, make sure the butter doesn't start burning. You could use white onions right here. I just like using green onions to get a little bit of the aroma coming out, and then I'll use more at the end to garnish. Here is my rice, the star of the show. This was jasmine rice. I did it the night before, put it on a sheet pan in the fridge on some wax paper, laid it out to cool down. Always recommend doing it the night before and cooling it down. Then my eggs go on top of the rice. Get them all up there, and don't worry, we'll take care of that dirty spot here in a second. But now my eggs can just hang out on the rice while it fries up on the griddle. I have all 4 burners on low right now, so if you get a spot like this for the eggs or sauces, someone has asked me before about sauces on the griddle and getting them off. It's just water. Keep using water and it just steams and it comes right off. Also, you can use a spatula, but I love this dough scraper for cleaning and for chopping. I really just love the dough scraper, so if you're interested in getting one of those, it's got a beveled edge. I'll have a link in the description to where I got it from. They're great. The egg rolls. This is my first time doing egg rolls on the griddle, and I must say I was pleasantly surprised. They turned out pretty good. Not as good as if you deep fry them. Let's be honest, nothing's as good as deep frying, but I'd say they're comparable to doing them in the oven, and I will do it again, so I'll show you a closer look later. That's about a cup of peas and carrots going down. They were frozen, but they're sitting outside. It's like 90 degrees. By this point, I'd already had like 3 beers just to stay hydrated, so they probably weren't really frozen by the time they got on the griddle. A little bit of salt and pepper going down on all those, and then we're going to hit up with the soy sauce. I usually do about 2 tablespoons. At least that's what I think it is. I'm just eyeballing it here, and I'll even put a little bit on the peas and carrots. Again, the recipe will be in the description. With the soy sauce, my goal is just to get it that color on all the rice, to get it brown. I don't want to go crazy. I don't want it swimming in soy sauce. It's going to be on the table because you're having hibachi. So if someone wants to add more, they have the opportunity to later. I just want to get everything that little brown color, and you'll see. So now I turn the top burner off. So at this point, I have the top burner off and the bottom, just the 2 middle ones, and that was a mistake too. I should have had the 2 bottom ones on the left side or bottom of your screen. I should have had them on and the 2 on the top off to be my warming zone, because I had the griddle up to 400 when I turned them all just above low. I mean, it's above 400. There goes a little bit more soy sauce. So I just want to get that brown color, and then we're going to put down our zucchini here. I chopped that into sticks pretty big. I don't want them too thin. They get too mushy sometimes if I get them too thin or small, so they're pretty big sticks. A little bit of salt and pepper down on that. Keep tossing the rice again. Honestly, this is the most fun part of hibachi at home. You just want to have your friends over. So now you can see there, then I turned off the 2 on the right. So now we're down to 2 of them off on the right, and the 2 on the left, I turned the other one back on the bottom left, which is how I should have been doing it to begin with. And the right would be your warming zone, and the left would just be where you're still cooking. Because you'll see when I put the meat down later, it was hot, but it just wasn't hot enough. I had to kind of catch up. Everything turned out fine. It tasted good, but I cut off the wrong burner because of those eggs at the beginning. The eggs really messed me up at the beginning. So I moved the egg rolls around. I had those on the griddle the whole time. I just kept moving them from spot to spot, trying to get some color on it. Then goes our zucchini. Let's take a look now. You can see, so what I was telling you, low, and then the right side is off. So it still had a good amount of heat. So we're going to move everything over there to keep it warm. And then we're gonna make some room for my onions. I just did zucchini and onions. This is a generic hibachi recipe for the griddle. You just use any vegetables you want. You want to spice it up with those cool little baby carrots, maybe some water chestnuts. Those are delicious. Water chestnuts wrapped in bacon. Now we're talking. Whatever floats your boat, you know. This is just a real basic one that I like to do, and I just like the onions and zucchini. I think they look good too. I think they play well off of each other. When you plate them, they look good. So, just my personal opinion. But I'll toss them all together, let those keep cooking up. And then you'll see the rice, it's still steaming. I mean, that one's off, but there's residual heat. And so it's fine. It's still cooking a little bit. It's steaming, hopefully getting that nice fried rice texture. Put down the steak. This is another mistake. I should have brought the veggies to the front and the steak back towards the egg rolls there, because it's way hotter in the back. So it just took too long to get this steak going, and I didn't really get as much of a crust as I wanted to. Live and learn from my mistakes. Put a little salt and pepper on the steak. This is just a cheap steak I found for like 10 bucks. A little more butter and garlic. I had 3 little pads of butter and garlic. One for the rice, one for the steak, and one for the shrimp. If you want to go with a nicer steak, knock yourself out. I don't even remember what this was. It was just on sale, like a little sirloin or something. So, but you can see the veggies are coming along nice. But now you can see, I'll show you the temp here. It's just not, it's still below 300 because I cut that one off earlier. And then in the middle, it starts to rise a little bit. So I had to turn the left 2 burners back up. So it wasn't my greatest cook in the world, to be honest with you. But I think it's a good lesson for everybody to see that, like, it's better than burning stuff. You can always go back up. You can always turn them back on and turn them up higher. So, you know, I'm a big proponent of not being scared to shut one of them off so you don't burn those eggs up at the beginning. But like I said, really, you should have just done the right side as your cooling area and the left side as your cooking area. So we're going to move our veggies all the way over into our cooling or warming area. It's not cooling, but it's just holding them warm over there. Bring them all over. They're looking good. Man, I do love zucchini. This was a very good meal. You can see now our steak is starting to get going a little more. The butter's melting down in there, looking good. But we're gonna move it, and we're gonna make room for our shrimp, because it's a steak and a shrimp hibachi. So we got to make a little room up front. The shrimp should cook a little quicker. That's why the steak went down first, because it's gonna take a little longer. I just cut the steak into strips. I mean, you could cube it if you want. I've seen people go real small, or you could put a full steak on there and just cook it like normal, slice it up. There goes more butter, more garlic. About 12 shrimps are going down there. They are looking good. Gonna get those all separated out, and then let them kind of touch the surface flat so they can each get a nice color to it, and they can get a nice texture on there. They didn't get quite as dark as I wanted, again, because the temperature had dropped and I messed up at the beginning. So I kind of turned it up to medium just to get a little more. Here's a look at the egg rolls. I think they turned out pretty good. Let me know your experience if you've used egg rolls or taquitos or empanadas or anything frozen like that on the griddle, how it turned out for you, because I was pleasantly surprised with how these turned out. So we're going to move around our steak and shrimp, and you can see it's finally getting hotter, up to temp where it should have been at. Throw down a little bit of sesame or teriyaki with sesame in it. Normally I just do plain teriyaki. I'm not gonna lie, this is on sale, but it's not like I'm making full teriyaki. I just want to put a little bit more flavor into the steak and shrimp. You see the shrimps are starting to get a nice color on them as I flip them over, and the steak, it's all in that butter, garlic that I'm putting on top, teriyaki, just tons of great flavor going on there. It turned out really, really well for the shrimp and the steak. If you want more teriyaki, you can. I just like to do a little bit of green onions on top. And that is hibachi at home, folks. If you haven't seen my chicken fried rice, click on the videos on the screen now. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one and keep on griddling.